The 16 Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence, or GBV, was started by activists at the inaugural Women's Global Leadership Institute in 1991.
The 16 Days of Activism is a global campaign. It has originally been started by civil society, and progressively on an annual basis, the momentum for this campaign on the global scale, but also on different national levels and subnational levels, has taken on a bigger and bigger impact. More and more partners are uniting, and I'm really happy to report that this year in Laos PDR, we have 30 different partners from the UN and governments, of course, but in addition to that, we have civil society entities, international NGOs, development partners, as well as the private sector that have joined to collaborate on this initiative. So why 16 days? For many other things, there's usually one day, an international day that is commemorated. The fact that there's 16 days for elimination of violence against women speaks to the enormity of the issue, speaks to the depth and breadth at which changes have to happen in society for this to be progressively tackled and to move towards improved gender equality and gender equity.
In Laos, UNFPA is leading the support on behalf of the UNCT to the Lao government for the rollout of the Essential Service Package for prevention and response to violence against women.
Well, I'd like to start by congratulating the government of Laos for the commitment that they made to the International Conference on Population and Development for the 25th anniversary. They've decided to commit to ending gender-based violence by 2030, including practices that are harmful to girls, such as child marriage.
What your thoughts could be done to enhance the elimination of violence against women, or what can we do to enhance the elimination of violence against women?
It's a really good question, and it's so important to understand when we speak about elimination of violence against women and girls that an all of society intervention can really help. It's not men against women or women against anyone. It's about improving mutual respect, making sure everybody's human rights are being fulfilled. Because when women are able to be empowered and live lives free of violence, men also benefit. And that's the evidence that is coming across from countries where more interventions have happened on this. I think equality is enshrined in the laws of most countries. The issue of violence, when it is unspoken, is one of the biggest challenges, and that's why having interventions such as the 16 days help make this a topic of conversation. It's so important to speak to young people, to children, to understand that before violence can happen, there are so many layers of attitudes, small actions that can lead to a situation where one person will consider that it's okay to demonstrate a violent act towards a woman or a girl in particular. And so recognizing that basic norms of gender equality are important to teach to children. It's one of the things that is happening in Laos through comprehensive sexuality education programs that are age appropriate, which teach, amongst other things, gender equality in grades as low as grade 1. It's important to understand how jokes and other conversation topics which might, in a casual or light manner, demean the role or the respect we give to women, can also contribute to a situation where women are disempowered and are considered to be less important, less valuable, and therefore more open and more vulnerable to attack. And that also happens across all ages, but is especially important to recognize in the workplace. So that if you have a meeting, women should have a seat at the table and not in the second row. If you have positions of power, it's important to understand who holds the power and who is making decisions that will influence the lives of women and children. And those decisions need to be made with women themselves, in consultation with women also. So if we think of what is to be done, another very good initiative in Laos PDR is that partners are uniting to roll out the Essential Service Package for prevention and elimination of violence against women. This is a survivor-centered approach, and it requires all the sectors to be engaged. And when I say all the sectors, I'm so happy to be speaking to the media today, because the media also has a very important role to articulate this issue. Compared to 10 years ago, 15 years ago, all over the world, we now have more time in media, whether it is print, radio, television, where this topic is discussed. The more a problem is known and articulated, the easier it becomes for people to start thinking about it. And once they start thinking about it, they will discuss it. And when discussion starts happening, that's the entry point to change. So change in mindsets from an early age, change in actions, and developing systems so that when violence does happen, women know where to go, how to access services, whether it is health services, legal services, justice services, police services, where to go so that they can get the help they need. At the same time, making sure that the perpetrator, which unfortunately is usually a man, also can seek the help they need to change their behaviors. So engaging with men and boys is critical in the fight to end violence against women and girls.
UN Women envisions a world where all women and girls are equal and empowered members of society, free of all forms of discrimination and violence by 2030. But let's not wait until then. Let's act now. We need your help and commitment to make sure that we reach the last woman. Together we can make it happen. If not now, when? If not you, who?